What's up, guys? Hi. First of all, thank you so much. Thank you for supporting me and supporting this channel. I really appreciate it. I hope you like the hat. If you're watching this, you probably don't have the hat yet, but the explanation can help you either way. I'm really excited about this, kind of reluctant about teaching this, which is why I wanted to make it sort of limited to the people who supported the channel and bought a hat. I didn't want to give this away, and I think after seeing the explanation, you'll understand why, and you'll want to keep this to yourself as well. Which brings me to my next point. I implore you, do not share this link. This link is a unlisted link, so if you do share it, people can watch it. However, it kind of doesn't help me, it doesn't help you, and I don't want to have to take the video down, you know, if it gets around. It's kind of special, and I want to keep it that way. So, you know, you're a magician, keep it secret. Before we get into the explanation, I do have some crediting. First and foremost, Mismag, he's a YouTuber, teaches magic tricks, and I actually learned this card trick from him years back before performing it, changing it, and making it what it is today. So I want to thank Mismag for that. The actual switching of the cards in the routine, the method for that comes from Ed Marlo, and that's about it. The rest is myself. So I want to let you know that you know, some of you might think, oh well, you know, it's a tutorial that you can find on YouTube already. Why would he sell a hat? Well, it isn't. The first phase is, and that's just part of magic. Magic is taking other routines that exist, making them better, improving them, and this one stands out for me as one of my favorite tricks I've ever performed, or I enjoy performing. So give it a shot and then decide. Here's a performance of this effect you may have seen on one of my recent videos. I wasn't even planning on doing this trick, but I think that you're really gonna enjoy it. So I'm gonna take some cards out here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're missing a 9. There we go. We got 9. All right. What's your name was?
Craig.
Craig. Chris. Nice to meet you.
Chris, pleasure. All
right. So do you believe that our choices can be influenced at all?
Yes. To
a certain point, right? What do you work in? What's your field?
Ad operations.
Okay, so ad. So obviously, right? Okay. I mean, you influence people's choices on a daily.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to do that with you, but it's hard to influence you if I let you know that I'm gonna influence you. But I'll still try. Okay. So we got 1 to 9 here. And we're gonna mix these up. I'm actually gonna have you mix them up, but not like this, because then there's no way I can control how random you shuffle. So we're gonna play a bit of a game, super simple. All you have to do is tell me to either go. If you say go, I put a card down.
Gotcha.
You can say go again, I'll put another card down. But if you say switch, I switch the cards, switching the order of all of them, right? So the idea is to make it as random as possible. Don't think about it too much.
Gotcha.
You gotta make quick decisions like go, switch. It's gonna be really quick, all right? Lastly, do not let me influence you, all right? All right, go.
You just
go.
I said don't let me influence you.
All right, gotcha.
All right, go ahead.
Skip.
Switch, yeah.
Switch.
Keep going.
Switch.
Yep.
Switch.
Yeah.
Go.
Yep. You got one left. Go. Want to do it again?
Yeah.
Let's do it again. Quicker.
Switch.
Yep.
Go.
Yep.
Switch.
Yep.
Go. Go. Switch.
All right. Happy with that?
Yeah.
All right. So we got this random number here. Okay.
random.
3, 5, 7, 6, 8, 9, 1, 4. Does that mean anything to you? No? Is that your like phone number or anything? Someone's phone's ringing? No, I'm just kidding. One day that's gonna hit. One day it's a numbers thing. Put your finger right here. Right here like this. And when I say go, not yet, when I say go, you're gonna slowly move this, or you're gonna put your finger down on one card. All right? Slowly, go.
Yes.
All right. But you decide. You decide where it goes.
Just that?
Yep. All right, 9. So check this out. I'm gonna turn this 9 around. 3, 5, 7, 6, 8, 9, 1, 4, 2. You shuffle these cards, you chose any random card. There's one thing we talked about in the beginning, which was how to influence people's decisions, right? And one thing I did, which most magicians don't do, is I rolled up my sleeve, right? You saw that, right? And there's a reason I rolled up my sleeve. I got some ink. But I got one tattoo in particular you're really gonna find interesting.
Don't give me that.
Check it out, it's been there the entire time. And look where the X is. And that's really on my skin, you can check. I'm telling you. Look, that's really in there.
Bro, why you think that Alright, you got it. Oh! Good shit, that was crazy. That's super dope.
Thank you. So that was a performance of the effect. I'm going to explain to you how I get them to choose the 9 time and time again. If you see on the inside of your hat, once you receive it, you'll see this, and you'll see the numbers as well as the 9 being crossed out. And I'm gonna tell you how to get into that pretty much bulletproof methods to influence them to choose the 9, which is pretty sick. So without further blah blah, let's get into teaching you guys this effect. All right, so here's the explanation to this effect. For this trick, you will need to take out ace through 9. It does not matter what suit they're in. If you want to think about that, and if you want to have some of them, you know, half-half, red or black, it doesn't honestly matter at all. You take the cards out. While you're taking the cards out, you ask them, do you believe that you are in full control of your decisions? You know, many people say yes, many people say no. At this point, I'd like to ask them what they do for a living and somehow spin that into the presentation. So for instance, if they say marketing, I say, oh, well, you influence people on a daily basis. Or if they say I'm in accounting, you say, oh, you work with numbers and you're a very difficult person to influence because you work, you know, with specific numbers, that type of thing. It just makes it more engaging. So as you do that, you take these and you put them in order, 1 through 9, just like so. You ask them to have a look, 1 through 9, everybody okay with that? Yes, and we continue. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try and influence your decision. Now, it's very hard for me as a magician to influence your decision if I tell you that I'm going to influence your decision. And that's what makes this trick very difficult. Normally I wouldn't tell you anything and it would work, but I'm not sure if it's gonna work this time. So I'm gonna have you mix this up, and I like to do this little subtlety, just something extra, a little layer in their mind that maybe they thought they mixed it. So I'd say, I'm gonna have you mix these up, but I'm not gonna let you mix them up randomly because then I have no control over how you place the cards. So instead, we're gonna play a little bit of a game. Very simple game. It's called Go or Switch. Now here's the great part, is that in explaining how this game works, I'm actually placing the cards. So this is the order that you want to do it in. You say to them, so for instance, if you say go, I put a card down and I turn it face up. If you say go again, I put another card down. But if you say switch, I switch these two, so I actually switch these two, turn it around, and then it switches the order of the deck, as you can see. Now I want you not to think about this. I just want you to kind of, off the top of your head, don't even think about it and just say, you know, go or switch or however you want to say it. Boom. In that explanation, now I am set in the order of the numbers that I'm going to force. I will run through that setup again, and then I'll tell you how they can switch it and it doesn't change anything. So again, 1, 2. Do you believe that our decisions can be influenced? Yes. What do you work in? Marketing. Oh, so you influence people's decisions all the time. So I'm gonna actually have you mix these up, but not in your hands, because then I have no, I can't predict what's random. So instead, we're gonna play a game. It's called Go or Switch. Very simple. If you say go, I put a card down. If you say go again, I put another card down. If you say switch, I switch the cards, thus switching the order of the cards. So at this point we went go, go, switch, and now we're just gonna go go, switch, go, go. Go, go, switch, go, switch, go, go. Remember that. Go, go, switch, go, switch, go, go, as you're explaining. We're not quite done yet. Now I have to pick them up and I have to do one more switch and go. And so usually at this point I ask them, you know what, but I don't want you to think about it. I want it to be very, very quick. So all you do here is you do one go and you do one switch, and then you bring everything to the bottom and now you're set. How I like to phrase that is, I don't want you to think about it. I just want it to kind of come off the top of your head, go, switch, whatever comes to your mind the first, don't think about it, just do it. And in that action, I've placed it under the bottom, and now my order is 3, 5, 7, 6, 8, 9, 1, 4, 2, the order that I wanted. And before I start, I love doing this. This gets an extra little laugh. And I say, just make sure I don't influence you. I do not want to influence you. You got it? And they say, okay. And then you say, go. Instinctively, most people will say go after you said go. And so it's always a funny gag. So you say, okay, I'm not gonna, just don't let me influence you, already? Go. Now they say go, and and you put the card down, you look at them and you say, I said, don't let me influence you. And they get a laugh and they might go, or they might go switch at this point. It does not matter. What you're going to be doing is placing them face down. See, as before, we'd place them face up and then switch and place them face up, which did change the orders of the cards. However, in this case, we are placing them face down. So instead of, let's say they would say switch here, I would do this, and it actually changes nothing. Because if they said go, I would put that down. And if they said go again, I would put that down. But if they said switch, I would put the exact same cards down in the exact same way. So doing this is very fooling because you showed them face up, which actually switches the cards, but face down, it does 0 to the cards. And this is a beautiful principle by Ed Marlo. So at this point, go, switch, switch, go, whatever they want. And you say, let's do it one more time to make sure it's random. I like doing this twice because it sets the cards up nice. One time or 3 times, you got to do some fishy stuff with the cards. I don't like that. So twice, I always do it twice. So I say, all right, let's do it again. Go ahead. They say go, go, switch, go, go, switch, go. There we go. And we have the order of the cards. I usually ask them, I'm like, is this a phone number? Is this somebody's phone number? They say no. I say, well, one day that's going to happen. It's just a matter of, it's a numbers game. This number means nothing to anybody. Okay, just checking. Now, here is where the most interesting part of this effect, and this is what I came up with, what I added to it, which I think makes it killer. I say, give me your finger, and I want you to hover it over here. So I literally take them about 10, 15 inches away from the deck and start them there. Now, the method for this, for getting them to pick the 9, 70% of the time that I perform this, they've always hit the 9. There are times where they won't hit the 9, and I will explain what you can do in that situation. But for me, every time I start them out, I feel like there's a rubber band attached to this 9, and when I bring them about here, they just boof right on it every time. I like to separate the 9 just a little bit more, not too obvious, but just a little bit more than the other cards. It gives them a little bit more space to go ahead and touch it. I hold their hand, and here I say, okay, when I say go, not yet, but when I say go, you're gonna slowly move your hands over the cards, and you're gonna put your finger down on one card. As I explain this, I'm actually pointing to the 9, and I guess that helps the subtlety a little bit. So I say, you're slowly gonna move your hands over the card, and you're gonna point to one of the cards, whichever one you want. And they say, okay, and then I say go. I let go of their hand, and they start moving. A lot of times they'll just go boom. When that happens, I turn this card over, I reiterate what just happened, and I show them the reveal. In which case I usually use my tattoo, but you can use the embroidered hat. Now, let's say they're here and they're not putting their finger down and they're going here. This is what I'll normally do. I'll take their hand and I'll start over and I'll say, no, you have to decide when to go down. Because some people think I'm gonna stop them. And so it's a good way of getting out and having them restart again, okay? Now, let's say they go, usually this is what happens. They go for either the ace, the 8, or the 6, if it's not the 9. They'll usually go for the 9 based on a Divernon principle where you have 6 cards and they'll always choose the one nearest to the end. But if they don't, they will either go for one of these 3, okay? And in this case, if they go, no matter where they go down, so if you lift their hand high enough, so I would say 12 to 15 inches off, if you lift their hand high enough, you will start to see them go down slowly. If you see that they're going down on the wrong card, before they end up touching it, you just add, and whatever cards you're gonna touch, we're gonna get rid of. So go ahead, and then they hit this, and you say, perfect, so we'll get rid of those cards. You take this, and you move it this way. So that's a nice little subtle equivoque that you can do in the midst of them going for it. You add another rule. But if they touch it and say, oh, we're gonna get rid of a bunch of cards, like, it's a little bit fishy, it could still work, but I'd rather do it while they're coming down. If I see that they're not on the right card, I say, whatever card you touch, we're gonna get rid of, perfect, we'll go with this, and we'll get rid of these, okay? So let's say they did go here, and you have to get rid of these. You then take all the cards, and you push them aside, and you say, all right, we're gonna get rid of some more cards, put your finger here, and move this way, and bring your finger down on any card. So if they go here, you say, well, we can't get rid of all of these. Or if they go here, you say, is that the card you want? And a lot of times they'll just say yes, you just flip it over. But if they go here, boom, you can move these aside. Or if they go here, you move these aside and have them point to one of the two, whichever one. It becomes a magician's choice at this point. So if they point to this, you get rid of that. If they point to this, you flip it over, okay? So that's the equivoque that I use for this. So same goes if they point to here, you move these cards, you start here, boom, they point to there, you move those over, you got two left, touch one. And then it boils down to the 9. Obviously, the more choices you have and the more procedural it gets, the more diluted the effect. So the best thing that could possibly happen is that they hit the 9. Like I said, 70%, you guys have seen it on videos. I've posted probably 3 or 4 videos of performances where they've just pointed to the 9. It just always happens for me. My friends don't even know what's going on. It's one of those things. But if they don't, you have your outs. There are also other equivoque methods that are acceptable. So, you know, if they're here, you can, like, I mean, at this point, depending on what their name is, you can say, okay, your name is Brad, B-R-A-D. Boom, Brad, we're gonna take this card. You know what I mean? So equivoque really works best when you're jazzing it. I've given you some examples of what happens around here, but honestly, after performing this probably more than 1,000 times, I'm comfortable enough to do this trick with whichever card. And I'm not gonna run through these because it's very simple. If they stop here, you know, if they go all the way to the end, you have them, give me a number between 0 and 5. They say 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, we'll get rid of these. Or give me a number between 0 and 5, 3, 1, 2, 3. We'll take this card. Give me a number between 0 and 5, 2. All right, 1, 2, we'll get rid of all these. You understand? So there's different ways that you can use to apply, and every situation is different. The main thing is if you can have them push that card, touch that card, that is the best thing. So before you do this effect, a really good tip might be if you're rocking the hat with the embroidery, take it and flip it upside down and leave it on the table. And that way, when you get to the end, you can ask them, okay, so you've shuffled this card, you've shuffled these twice, you've chosen any card at all, free will. At any point, did you feel like I was influencing you? And they say no. You say, okay, do you remember what I did before I started? Most people will say, you chose some cards, and you say, no, before that. Most people don't catch it. But I took my hat off, and I laid it right here on the table. And as you can see on the inside of this hat, it's been there the entire time, the same numbers in the same order with the same number crossed out that you picked. And people go nuts. They go absolutely insane. So I usually do this with my tattoo. I roll my sleeves up before I start the trick, and I reiterate, you know, this tattoo's been there the entire time. That's a great way of convincing them of sort of subtle manipulation, mental sort of manipulation. So that is basically the effect in a nutshell. I can run through it one more time. All right, we've got a few cards here. Do you believe that your choices can be influenced? They say yes, no. You say, obviously, you know, look at Apple. They spend billions of dollars trying to influence people all the time to buy a new phone, even if you don't need one. So we know that influence exists, but it's hard for me to influence you if I'm telling you that I'm gonna influence you. So what we're gonna do is we have these cards 1 through 9, yes? Okay. And you're gonna give these a shuffle, but actually you're not gonna shuffle them randomly because then I have no control over a random shuffle, obviously. So we're gonna play a game where I'm gonna try and influence your decisions. Very simple. All you have to do is tell me to either go, and if you say go again, I go again. But if you say switch, I switch the cards, thus switching the order of the cards. And you can say go again, you can say switch, whatever you want, as long as you don't think about it and as long as it comes off the top of your head. So just make it quick, kind of go, switch type thing, and just don't really think about it, okay? And then say okay. One last thing, do not let me influence you, okay? All right, go, go. I said don't let me influence you, ha 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 ha. Roaring laughter. At this point, it doesn't matter what they do. And you can say, oh, did I miss that? And you can say, we can do it again. Okay. This is the order that we have. Does this mean anything to anybody's that could be your phone number? No? Okay. Give me your hand and lift it right over here and point your finger. Perfect. I'm gonna let go, and in a second, not yet, but in a second, when I say go, you're gonna slowly, very slowly move this way, and whenever it feels right, you're just gonna bring your finger down and point to one card, whatever card. It's okay, and go. Now whatever card you touch, we're gonna get rid of, okay? So perfect. So this here, we'll get rid of all these cards. I will start again here, do the same thing this way. This one or this one? This one? Okay. Point to one of these two. This one, and we'll get rid of that too, and leaves us with the 9. Boom, equivocate handled. Or, go ahead and say, just drop it wherever, boom, and that's the ideal situation. And then, like I said, you reveal it by asking them if they remember what you did before you started the trick, and you actually influenced them before you even brought the cards out. And that is the influence trick. You're welcome. So practice that, try it on your friends and family first before you go out, and balls to the walls, just try it out, just be gutsy, you know? Equivocate and these sort of risky magic things that I do are the best. Those are the ones that hit the hardest, but you have to get out there and do it for you to see that, or else, you know, you'll never know. So thank you again for purchasing my products, and hope you enjoy. All right, guys, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you value this information as much as I value it, and as much as I hold it dear. It kind of pains me to give it away to you guys, which is again why I ask you, do not share this link. Keep it to yourself, practice this effect, make it your own. You know, if you don't necessarily have to have it on your hat, obviously. I like the embroidered touch, kind of like a tattoo where it's permanent, you know, and you get that reaction. However, you can write this down on a napkin or put it to their phone via Toxic or whatever method you want to use. There are many, many different ways of performing this. You can even change up the order of the cards to fit whatever pattern you want to do. I gave you the bare bones. I gave you my personal way of performing it. The only thing I could ask you is, like, don't do it verbatim. Don't do it exactly how I do it. You know, if you want to start off with that as like a baseline, just that you're comfortable, but after that, change it up, make it your own, really make it your own. Figure out what you love to do in life, figure out the people you're around, who you're performing it for, and adapt it, change it, make it something unique, as I did when I first learned this trick. So guys, that's all I have to say. Thank you again so much for the support. I really appreciate it. I love you all, and I can't wait to see you guys on the next video. Peace.